people are upset because their senior leaders let them down, and none of them are raising their hands and accepting accountability or saying, we messed this up. And I'm not saying we've got to be in Afghanistan forever, but I am saying, did any of you throw your rank on the table and say, hey, it's a bad idea to evacuate Bagram Airfield, a strategic air base, before we evacuate everyone? Potentially all those people did die in vain if we don't have senior leaders that own up and raise their hand and say, we did not do this well in the end. I have been fighting for 17 years. I am willing to throw it all away to say to my senior leaders, I demand accountability.
Many of you remember that viral moment there of Stuart Scheller. He is the U.S. Marine officer who was discharged for his viral videos criticizing military officials and the political handling of that botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, costing the lives of 13 U.S. service members and so much more. Joining us now to discuss is former U.S. Marine Corps and author of The Crisis of Command, How We Lost Trust and Confidence in America's Generals and Politicians, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller. Colonel, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming back on. We do appreciate that. How are you today?
I'm good, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Before we talk about this book, kind of tell the viewers where you are today in life. So many have followed you and really resonated with the things you said, specifically the strategy of dumping Bagram Air Base before the evacuation carried out. We know that so many people were injured. 13 U.S. service members were killed that day during that withdrawal. It could have been handled differently. Many military experts have said, including yourself. How has your life changed since you spoke out?
Life has changed a lot. You know, I was in the desert of California as a regimental officer just a little over a year ago. And so, but it's been good. A lot of opportunities. I wrote a book in April. And since that time, I've been going around the country, really getting an education in politics. I've supported a lot of candidates that I think have courage. And, you know, there's just fundamental breakdowns, not only in our senior military leaders, but our political leadership as well. The resounding theme that I want to impress upon people is that we need people with courage. The entire representative democracy only works if the American people can find a voice and speak out when they see injustice. And these different things, whether it's retirement, family stability, the 3,000 square foot house, all these things kind of paralyze us with fear. We don't want to lose our friends. We don't want to lose all the comfort things that we have. So it becomes very tough to just say the emperor has no clothes oftentimes. And so life has changed a lot, but I'm encouraged by all the people that have shown me support, and I'm trying to be brave enough to walk on the new path that's in front of me.
Yeah, tell us about the book, what inspired you to write it, what's inside of it, the message you're hoping to get across, and maybe some of the responses you've received after releasing that book.
The book is something that I wrote really in response to everything that happened. I didn't go into everything I did anticipating writing a book. I believe we probably need more action than we need talking, but the good thing about a book is it can project a plan, and it can be a good way to put your thoughts on paper. And so I wrote it for the American people. I think that we've lost our way a little bit. The military often says, I work at the pleasure of the president, and you get these people in the military that understand the intricacies of the system so well they become blinded by the obvious truths, the obvious failures that the American people felt. And that's why my video resonated. And so in the book, I basically a chapter over each 3-year tour. So the first 9 chapters, I talk about how I became disenfranchised with America's foreign policy approach, specifically with the military, and how we continue to make mistakes and have drifted from where we need to have a warfighting focus. And then the second part of the book seamlessly transitions into what happens after I post that video, the very raw, real story that continues to illustrate the hypocrisy of all the things that are wrong with the military system. And I think it's on every American to understand what's going on. Since we've had the all-volunteer force after Vietnam, there's been a divide between the American people and the military. So the purpose of this book is written towards the American that may not know anything about the military, but I think it's important that they understand the systemic problems that exist.
Absolutely. All right, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller joining us live here. His book is out. You can get that. Always a pleasure, Colonel. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with our audience. We do appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on, Sean.